Good morning. Welcome back to the ASUG News Studio. I'm Courtney Bjorlin, and I'm very excited to be joined by Brad Eifert from Sunbelt Group. Brad and I are going to talk about Traumer's HANA implementation. They were, of course, one of the first HANA customers to go live. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
So Brad, tell us a little bit about what you do for Sunbelt.
So basically what I do for Traumer, so let me step back. So in May of 2011, we started our HANA ramp-up project. So within that project, I pretty much was involved in every aspect of that implementation. So from data procurement to HANA modeling to writing Webby reports and dashboards. So just let me give you a little bit of the BI landscape that we have set up at Traumer Sunbelt. So we're replicating data from our production SAP system along with 40 different non-SAP systems. So they encompass our bottle picking, our case picking, and our time clock systems that we're replicating into HANA. So once we get the data into HANA, we have about 1.9 billion records of data that we're bringing in, and we're getting about a 7-to-1 compression ratio. So that translates to about 120 gigs worth of data. So from there, we're creating HANA models on top of that data, and then we're exposing that using business objects, Webby, and dashboards, and Explorer.
Simple stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 different systems,
yeah.
And that's incredible, it really is. So talk to me about some of the specific use cases here.
So the main use case that we wanted to achieve was just to provide a BI tool for our warehouse operations group. That was something that they desperately needed. They didn't have that tool in the past. The way they would get data out of SAP was just to go directly to the transactions, and depending on the requirement, that could be a long process. So we just wanted to provide as much data to our operation users. The second use case was we had a specific report that we had developed in SAP. It's called the Operational Benchmark Report. It consisted of about 74 KPIs and across 7 different functional areas within SAP. That particular report took about 10 hours to run, and with formatting and additional tweaking to the report, it could take up to 2 days before we could even get it out to any of our managers. So we felt like that was a good use case to kind of try to see if HANA could do as advertised and improve the performance. So once we got it in HANA, it took about, we got it down to about under a minute. And with each implementation, each revision, that number keeps going down. So that frees up the resources that we're working on that report to do other things, and then and it gives them access to the real-time data as well, so they can run that more frequently.
That's incredible. What were some of the other business benefits of the use cases that you mentioned? I mean, speed is something that we keep hearing over and over and over again. Are there other things besides speed that you've realized from the HANA implementation?
Well, for us, one of the main advantages was just the real-time data. So we wanted to be able to access real-time data so that our managers can get that real-time data and make decisions as it comes in. So one of the use cases was to create real-time dashboards out in the warehouse. So we are replicating the sources of data from non-SAP and SAP, and all that data is coming into the dashboards, and then we're putting that on big 47-inch screens out in the warehouse, so that the warehouse managers and the people on the floor can see those statistics and analytics, and they can make decisions, so that when the data comes in, they can readjust the personnel to meet the greatest need in the warehouse.
What was their reaction when these reports that took them days went down to seconds and minutes?
It was very positive. Just the fact that they have access to this data in real time and can get it at the speed of thought was great. So.
Yeah, it's something else we keep hearing, I think, at this conference, is really taking care of your people and giving them the tools to do this kind of work so much faster and more efficiently is really doing that. Let's jump to skills, because I know this is a big question for our membership now. What skills did you find you needed to do the projects, and were you able to upskill any of your existing staff to meet those needs?
So from a skills perspective, if you have people on staff that know SLT, know HANA, know business objects, that's great. But realistically, that those skills are pretty new. Business objects, they might have some people, but HANA and SLT are relatively new technologies. So what we had to do is we had to rely heavily on SAP consultants that were working with us closely on the project to train our internal people, and then we used those people to train other people within the company. So specific skills that we needed were for SLT, if you plan on doing any transformation during the replication, you'll definitely need some ABAP skills. From a HANA modeling, we saw that if you have existing BI that might not be in HANA, those skills translate very well. And then just basic SQL scripting and SQL skills that can be used there as well. And then business objects, if those skills are available, that's be a good help. One area where we found it very difficult was that this is still a relatively new technology, and things are changing so fast that we just have a hard time keeping up. So we've used a lot of the tools that SAP's made available out there. They have free tutorials on saphana.com that we've used, and we just feel like that has helped us a lot.
Yeah, especially being in 2011, you know, I mean, it was really a blank slate for that sort of thing. That's interesting. Can we pick up on that for one more minute? Is there anything besides, you know, the Experience SAP HANA sites or any place else you really would recommend people look for those types of tutorials and skills?
Basically, just go out there and you can just look at all the different SAP sites. I mean, go to SAP SDN and the developer networks, and you can get some good skill sets there.
Great, great. So I'm thinking about buying HANA. What do I need to know? Give me 3 pieces of advice so that I go in with my eyes wide open.
I would say building the right team is really important. For us, like I said, we didn't have a lot of internal knowledge when we jumped in, so we relied heavily on a good SAP partner. We had SAP consultants come in, and we relied heavily on those. Internally is just make sure you have a basis resource, someone that has BI related skills, and then someone that really knows the source of the data. So those are areas where you need, and also if you have any business users, you can bring those in as well to help with the training. So I think building the right team is very important. Also knowing your use case. We picked a very challenging use case. It was something that wasn't widely used, so we had to add extra time to kind of figure out what we needed to do before we could even start working on the technology. So if you understand your use case and if it's widely adopted already, that will make a very smoother implementation. As far as the third is just don't underestimate the project. There's so many moving parts that you just need to make sure that those are properly put into the timeline, from just installations and security and training and modeling and just building reports and dashboards.
Great advice. So build your team, define the use case, and definitely know that it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of moving parts, and you're going to need that great team and that good use case to back it up. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Brad. That was wonderful. And if you see Brad walking around the floor, he's a great HANA expert. I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining us for this segment of ASUG News. We'll be back later on in the day with some great more HANA content and much more. Stay tuned.